confirm that if you have a name on the screen, that name is correct. If not, if you could tell me what your full name is, and who you're representing here today, whether you're a neighbor, the owner, an applicant, or any other party. So I'll start with someone I do know, Kate Meehan from the zoning department. Welcome, Kate.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I see we have Denny Dillinger here as well. Denny, welcome.
Okay.
Denny, I see you have two screens open here. Do you mind if I remove one of these, or?
Yeah. I just hung up on the phone.
Sure. Okay. I have someone under the as an iPhone, listed as an iPhone. You could unmute for me.
Yeah, it's Demi Ferreira.
Okay. Could you spell your name for me, please?
DEME and FERREIRA.
Okay. And who are you representing here today?
I'm with Daniel Dumitru.
We are
owners
both
of the property.
You're the owners?
Yeah, we're
Yep.
both owners. Thank you.
Do either of you intend on testifying today, or are you just going to be observing?
Just observing for myself.
Okay.
Just observing.
Okay, great. Welcome. All right. Mr. Dillinger, are we expecting anyone else to join us here today?
I don't believe so.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to read through our hearing script. This just covers the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump into it. So this is the December 13th, 2023 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. Case before us today is case number ZH20230169. That's 2455 West McMicken. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any potential opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If we did have anyone here from the public, they'd have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. I will give the zoning plans examiner, Kate Meehan, an opportunity to provide testimony in addition to her staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to or rebut the testimony offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly. But to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from me fully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. Just need to swear in Mr. Dillinger and Ms. Meehan. So if you could both unmute, raise your right hand, and answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And Mr. Dillinger, I muted you while you were on the phone there. If you could just unmute and say that out loud before we get started.
I do swear.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Dillinger, are you ready to proceed?
Sure.
Floor is yours.
Well, I think it's a pretty simple request. We want to have 2 dwelling units in the property, but the lot area is so small that it's in that particular zone. It doesn't permit 2 units with the lot area that we have. So, is there anything further I really need to say?
Yeah. Why is 2 units appropriate on a lot that doesn't allow 2 units?
Well, it's more the zoning designation, I think, doesn't allow the density that we need. I can't remember off the top of my head what the total lot area is, but in another adjoining or nearby zones, I think the density is not really an issue. And also, this building has been classified by the auditor's site as a single-family house, but I don't think it ever was truly a single-family house. The first floor, main floor, was clearly a storefront that was some sort of commercial use at one time. There's 2 fire escapes on the front of the building, so there were 2 apartments, one on each of the second and third floor. And then in the lower level, where we have requested the permission for the second apartment, that had previously been finished off as a catering space. So, the units are quite, or the one unit is quite large. The other unit is more of a normal sized apartment. But, we feel there's no justification to not permit it to be developed as we're proposing it to be.
Gotcha. And you mentioned that there are similar properties in the same district that have the same density or similar densities.
I think so, but I haven't really done an exhaustive study to know exactly where the differences are to be able to quote them on the zoning code.
Gotcha. Okay. And I see there's also before I ask another question on the relief, could you tell me what the building its current use is? Is it vacant? Is it occupied? Is it a single family use at the time, or what?
Well, it's been vacant for quite a few years. I know Dan and his partner purchased it, about a year ago, Dan, from Clifton Heights, or Clifton Heights Urban Redevelopment Corporation. And they had gotten ownership of it somehow because it was essentially abandoned for a long time.
Gotcha. So it has been vacant for at least a few years. Is that right?
Probably more than a few years, but I
Okay.
don't really know the history.
Okay. And I see there's also some requested relief for parking, for one parking space. Any comments on that?
Well, just that this part of West McMicken Avenue is not very densely populated at all right now, and there's plenty of available on-street parking. And it's very close to the area of Over the Rhine that does not require parking for newly developed units.
Gotcha. Okay. Last question, sort of more general. Would it be economically feasible to redevelop this property as one unit instead of two, in your opinion?
Well, that's really the decision that the owner has to make, and I think they have made it, that it really requires the second unit to be economically feasible.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Dillinger, before I go to Kate?
I don't think so.
Okay, thanks. Kate?
So I would just to add to what Mr. Dellinger has already said, this property is in the RMX zone, so it requires 2,500 square feet per unit. This lot is less than 2,000 square feet. The property, I think, from the auditor site dates from like 1880. So certainly, this has existed since well before current zoning code. Looking at the property map, most of the properties through there are on pretty narrow, small lots. I would dare say a lot of those would not meet the minimum requirement in RMX for 2,500 or the 5,000 square foot requirement for 2 units. I did notice there appears to be many 2-family buildings in this area. And again, I would say probably most of those are, well, I can pretty much say they are not on a 5,000 square foot lot. So they also would be legally non-conforming. Again, given the time frame when this property was developed, buildings were, built close to each other. They were landlocked. They did not have they were not built on a large lot. So I think certainly we would be supportive of this relief. It will allow this building to be rehabbed as 2 units, which again appears to be a pretty common housing situation on the street, that there's a lot of 2 families on this particular street and block. I notice most people do not appear to have off-street parking. So again, that's a condition that exists. I might also mention this is fairly close to public transportation. So someone that's living here may be able to utilize public transportation and may not even need a car. So we would be supportive of rehabbing this, long vacant building back to productive use. And they just need the relief to allow for the 2 units, given that RMX would require 5,000 square feet to allow 2 units without relief.
Okay. Thanks, Kate.
Mm.
Appreciate your testimony and your work on the staff report. The only question, Kate, real quick, is just for the record, so it's clear, the required lot area per unit is 2,500. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And the lot itself is 1,600.
Right. It's less than 2,000 square feet. I think it's like 1,655.
Okay, great. Thanks again.
Mhm.
Mr. Dillinger, anything in response to Ms. Meehan's comments or otherwise? In closing or
No,
otherwise?
I don't have anything to add.
Okay, let's leave it at that. I've had a chance to review the application materials, the staff report. I'm also familiar with the area. Based on all of that, based on the testimony here today, I agree with the arguments that have been made, and I think it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this application. And so based again on all of that, I'm going to approve the application. Mr. Dillinger, as you know, I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. As soon as I finish that, I will put it into a PDF and email it to you and to Ms. Meehan. As soon as Ms. Meehan has a copy of my decision, she can approve the permitting, and hopefully you can move forward.
Great. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, if you have any questions, let me know. If you'd like a status update on the decision, let me know. Otherwise, happy holidays and good luck on the project.
I'd just
Thank
like
you.
to say, as representing here, the owners, thank you all very much. We appreciate it, and happy holidays.